The knife, the airport, and the charge. Brooke George went to Dubai after meeting a man online. What began as a modern story of travel, romance, and social media attention has now turned into something far more serious. A British TikTok creator from Kent is now facing a murder charge in the United Arab Emirates. Authorities accuse her of killing a 26-year-old British man. Brooke says the stabbing happened in self-defense, and that is the heart of this case. Was this premeditated murder, as the charge alleges, or was it the desperate reaction of a young woman who says she was being attacked and trying to escape? Right now, Brooke George has not been convicted, but the charge she faces is one of the most serious in Dubai. And if the court rejects her version of events, the consequences could be extreme. To understand how a TikTok influencer ended up at the center of an international murder case, we have to go back to the beginning. Before Dubai changed everything, Brooke George was 23 years old. She was from Gravesend, Kent, and had built a following on TikTok. Reports described her as a former John Lewis worker with close to 100,000 followers online. But this case did not begin with fame. It began, according to reports, with a connection made on Facebook. Brooke met a 26-year-old British man online. The relationship developed across messages, distance, and promises of something exciting. Eventually, she traveled to Dubai to meet him in person. According to Detained in Dubai, the group now assisting her, Brooke, described her first visit as positive. She reportedly said it felt like the time of her life. There was travel, there was attention, there was the image of a glamorous new chapter. But according to Brooke's account, the second trip was different, and that second trip is where the story begins to shift. The second visit, according to Brooke's account, she returned to Dubai after that first visit. This time she later claimed the man's behavior changed. Detained in Dubai says Brooke alleged he became controlling and abusive. One of the details reported is that Brooke discovered she only had a one-way ticket. That detail mattered because, if accurate, it changed the feeling of the trip. A holiday becomes something harder to leave. A relationship becomes something more difficult to escape. According to the same account, Brooke wanted to return home. Her family said she was not acting like herself before the incident. They later claimed she contacted them in panic after being attacked. Reports say friends helped arrange a flight home. But before she could leave, Brooke needed something important, her passport. And according to her version of events, going back to retrieve it led to the fatal confrontation. The first warning signs came through Brooke's own claim and her family's account. According to reports, Brooke said she had been assaulted. Her family said she contacted them while frightened and desperate to leave Dubai. The alleged argument did not stay in one place. Reports say Brooke claimed the man assaulted her after an evening at a bar in Jumeirah village. She also claimed the violence continued after they returned to an apartment. At some point, Brooke allegedly tried to get her passport back. That detail is now central. If she was trying to leave, it supports her claim that she wanted to remove herself from the situation. But investigators will need more than claims. They will need evidence. Medical records, message, witnesses, CCTV, phone data, airport records, and the physical evidence from inside the apartment. Because in a murder case, the difference between self-defense and unlawful killing is not decided by emotion. It is decided by what can be proven. After the fatal stabbing, Brooke George was arrested. Reports say she was detained in Dubai in the early hours of Monday, June 22nd. She was later charged with murder. The case is being treated under UAE law, not British law. That is important because the legal stakes are different. UAE legislation allowed the death penalty for murder with premeditation or predetermination. Reports say Brooke has been charged with premeditated murder. That means investigators are not only asking whether she caused the fatal injury, they are asking whether the act was planned or deliberate under the law. Brooke supporters argue the opposite. They say she was a domestic violence survivor. They say she acted while being attacked. Detained in Dubai has also raised concern about her treatment after arrest, including access to legal support and communication with British authorities. The UK Foreign Office has said it is supporting the family of a British woman detained in the UAE and is in contact with local authorities. But the most important part of the investigation remains the same. What exactly happened inside that apartment before the knife was used? Several details make this case especially difficult. The first is the online beginning. Brooke and the man reportedly met on Facebook. That means investigators will likely examine messages, travel plans, and the timeline of how the relationship developed. The second detail is the alleged one-way ticket. It's confirmed it could support Brooke's claim that she felt trapped, but by itself, it does not prove self-defense. The third detail is the passport. Brooke's side says she was trying to retrieve it so she could leave. If phone messages, travel booking, or witness accounts support that, it could become important. The fourth detail is her physical condition after arrest. Detained in Dubai says Brooke was bruised and battered. If medical evidence confirms injuries consistent with her account, that could matter in court. But the court will also examine the victim's injury, the location of the knife, the pattern seen, and whether the evidence matched Brooke's statement. This case is not simple because both sides of the central question are serious. A man is dead, a young woman says she was defending herself, and between those two facts, it is the evidence the court has not yet fully tested. The main breakthrough in the case is not a confession, it is the legal conflict. Brooke George is accused of murder. Brooke George claims self-defense. That is the battle line. According to reports, the man was stabbed with a kitchen knife. Brooke's account says she reached for the knife after being attacked. Her supporters say authorities should treat the case as one involving alleged domestic violence, but prosecutors have charged her with premeditated murder. That means the court process will likely focus on timing, intent, and necessity. Was Brooke under immediate threat? Was there a chance to escape? Did the physical evidence support her account? Were there early threats, messages, or injuries? Did the alleged assault happen as described? And did the stabbing happen in the moment she claims? Those questions will decide whether the case is reviewed as murder, self-defense, or something legally different. For now, Brooke is accused, not convicted, and the truth depends on evidence that has not yet been fully tested in public. The Brooke George case is powerful because it sits at the intersection of social media, international travel, domestic violence claims, and one of the most serious criminal charges possible. A young influencer went to Dubai after meeting a man online. Now, a man is dead, and she's facing a murder charge in a country where the legal consequences can be severe. The public will see the TikTok angle first. The headlines will focus on beauty, fame, Dubai, and the death penalty. But the real story is not the image. The real story is the timeline, the messages, the injuries, the passport, the flight home, the knife, and the question investigators now have to answer. Was Brooke George a killer who planned an attack, or was she a frightened young woman who says she fought back during the final moments of an alleged assault? Until the evidence is fully tested in court, that question remains open, and in this case, the answer could decide whether Brooke George ever come home.